To this developing story now, 4 police officers charged with the murder of Mthokozisi Ntumba are set to appear in the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court for the second time today. In fact, the officers who also face charges of attempted murder and defeating the ends of justice are expected to apply for bail. Ntumba died, you remember, shortly after he was shot allegedly by police during a student protest in Johannesburg. And that was actually 2 weeks ago, beg your pardon. Newzroom Africa's Zikhona Tshona has been covering the story since those protests erupted and joins us now in studio to give us a sense of what's to come today. Zikhona, great to see you. I wonder if we can perhaps start on reflecting on what happened the first time that the accused appeared as we look forward to what's to come today.
So the first time they appeared was last week, Thursday. It was a very brief court appearance. It was mainly just to read them their charges. The NPA saying that they are facing 1 count of murder, that's for Mthokozisi Ntumba's death, 3 counts of attempted murder, and 1 count of defeating the ends of justice. The 3 counts of attempted murder are linked to other testimonies that the NPA says it has of people that were injured during those protests. The defeating the ends of charges charge is linked to the fact that they didn't protect the scene when Mthokozisi Ntumba died. They also didn't assist him after firing those rubber bullets. And then they also did not report what had happened in Braamfontein during those protests to their superiors. So what's expected today is that it is their formal bail application, which is expected to take place in the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court. Yeah,
and you and I have been on the streets of Johannesburg, sometimes at the height of some of the unrest. I wonder what it was specifically that tied these police officers to the crime that took place. Do you have any details about that?
So the NPA says it is in possession of CCTV footage that could link the accused to this case. Of course, we do know that there's a video already circulating on social media showing what happened prior to the shooting. The NPA not willing to say whether it has access to other CCTV footage that could link these arrested police officers. What is going to be important in court today, though, is that the police would have last week received the post-mortem report on Mthokozisi's death, which will then give us more detail as to what actually led to him dying, because his legal team, the legal team of the accused, rather, last week really questioned the state as to how they were able to make an arrest without having received the post-mortem report on Mthokozisi Ntumba's death.
Absolutely. We've often kind of followed the story from the eyes of the family who are, of course, dealing with a tremendous loss. Do we know if they will be in court today?
It's not clear as to whether they will be in court today. I know last week we were expecting 2 family members from the family to attend court proceedings, but of course it was also on the day of his memorial service, so no one from the family showed up, which is quite understandable. Yeah. But students from this university, and in particular the SRC from that university, showed up in court last week. They've informed me that today they will be marching from Braamfontein to the court, and we know that because of the COVID-19 regulations, not many people are allowed in court, but the court does make provision for about 3 students to be able to attend those court proceedings.
All right, Zikhona Tshona, thanks very much for that perspective. A very important story, no doubt. We'll keep following for you right here on the AM Report. Zikhona Tshona will be live to us at the Johannesburg Magistrate's Court. That's where these 4 police officers who are implicated in the murder of Mthokozisi Ntumba are set to make their court appearance. It's an incredibly important story because, once again, it's highlighted some of the faults in our policing. Important to also point out that many of these faults are absolutely not new. The question becomes, will this be another turning point that will lead to substantive and material change? We're watching the story quite closely, and I guess the challenge for us is to ensure that we keep the story itself alive as we try to get a sense of whether or not it will lead to the type of change I speak about.